Welcome to my channel, HD Rare Coins 111. In this video I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The story of the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny is far more than just a tale of a small piece of currency. It's a journey through American history, artistry, and the world of coin collecting. While a penny may seem like an ordinary coin, to a collector, it can hold immense value, not only in terms of money but also in its historical significance. The 1971 Lincoln penny is one such coin that, though it may look like just another standard issue from the U.S. Mint, holds secrets and opportunities that could surprise even the most seasoned collectors. By the end of this video, we'll explore the design, the minting process, the history behind the coin, and how this seemingly simple penny can be worth $69,060 in the right condition. Let's begin by taking a step back in time to understand the historical context of the 1971 Lincoln penny. To understand why this penny is so important, we must first recognize the significance of the Lincoln penny in American coinage history. The Lincoln cent was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the words, "In God we trust, liberty," and the year of minting. This design has remained on the penny to this day, making the Lincoln cent one of the longest-running coin designs in the history of the United States. By the time we reached 1971, the Lincoln penny had become an iconic symbol of American currency. The original wheat-back reverse design, which depicted two stalks of wheat surrounding a simple wheat ear, had been replaced in 1959 with a more symbolic design, a representation of the Lincoln Memorial, located on the reverse side of the penny. This change was meant to honor Lincoln's legacy and his contributions to the nation, both as a president and as a symbol of unity during the Civil War. The Lincoln Memorial design was the work of engraver Frank Gasparo, who also created the reverse design of the half-dollar coin featuring John F. Kennedy. This design, featuring the memorial with its famous steps and columns, would go on to be the iconic reverse of the penny for decades to come. Including in 1971. By 1971, the United States was undergoing significant changes in its economic landscape. The late 1960s and early 1970s had been turbulent years. The country was still feeling the effects of the Vietnam War, which had brought social and political upheaval. At the same time, the U.S. economy was entering a period of inflation, and many changes were happening in the world of currency. This included the decision to shift the materials used to make coins. As the price of copper increased, the U.S. Mint started experimenting with different alloys for coinage, and the 1971 penny was among the last to be produced in its traditional copper composition before the eventual transition to a copper-plated zinc alloy in 1982. This shift marked a turning point in the production of American currency. The 1971 Lincoln penny, like many other coins from this era, was minted in massive quantities, at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Over 4 billion pennies were struck in 1971, making it a relatively common coin in terms of mintage. These were produced for circulation, which means that millions of these pennies ended up in the hands of American citizens. In addition to these regular strikes, proof coins, which were specially produced for collectors and struck with a higher level of precision and detail, were also minted that year. These proof coins have always been much rarer and more valuable than the coins intended for circulation. When it comes to the design of the 1971 penny, it remains virtually unchanged from the standard Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been introduced a dozen years earlier. On the obverse side, we still see Abraham Lincoln's portrait, the familiar Liberty inscription, and the year 1971 prominently displayed. The reverse side of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial, which sits at the heart of Washington, D.C. Above the memorial are the words, "E pluribus unum," and beneath it you'll find 1 cent. The design is simple, but the symbolism behind it runs deep, representing both Lincoln's role in American history and the enduring strength of the nation. The 1971 Lincoln penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams. These specifications are standard for pennies minted during this time period, and they were the same as those used for most coins minted in the 1960s and early 1970s. It wasn't until the 1980s that the composition of the penny would change due to rising costs of copper. This particular composition of copper and zinc gives the penny its signature reddish-brown appearance, which becomes more pronounced as the coin ages. But even though over 4 billion 1971 Lincoln pennies were struck, not all of them are the same. This is where the world of coin collecting becomes intriguing, and where even seemingly common coins like the 1971 penny can become highly sought-after treasures. The value of any coin is influenced by several factors, including its condition, its rarity, and any potential minting errors. Even in a year when billions of pennies were minted, there is always the chance that certain coins stand out above the rest due to these factors. One of the key elements that can influence the value of a coin like the 1971 penny is its grade. Coin grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition, and it's crucial for determining a coin's market value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. A 1971 Lincoln penny in mint state condition, meaning it has been well preserved and shows no signs of wear or damage, can be worth a substantial amount more than a coin that has been heavily circulated. Even though the 1971 penny is fairly common, an example that has been preserved in near-perfect or uncirculated condition can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. However, the real magic happens when minting errors come into play. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, leading to coins that are distinct from the regular issue. These error coins can be incredibly valuable, especially when they are rare or particularly dramatic in their flaw. Some of the most sought-after minting errors in the 1971 penny include double strikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks. A double-struck coin occurs when a coin is struck twice by the dies, causing the design to appear slightly misaligned or overlapping. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not properly aligned in the press, leading to a coin that has part of the design missing or shifted. Die cracks, which happen when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, can also create unique and interesting characteristics that make a coin more valuable. Even though the 1971 penny was struck in enormous numbers, there are still relatively few examples that feature these kinds of minting errors, and these coins are highly prized by collectors. For example, a 1971 Lincoln penny with an off-center strike or a dramatic double strike could fetch thousands of dollars at auction, far surpassing its 5-cent face value. Now, let's get to the most exciting part: the value of the 1971 Lincoln penny. As you can imagine, the value of the coin is not solely based on its mintage or design. It's largely determined by its rarity and condition. Most 1971 Lincoln pennies in circulation are worth only 1 cent, just as they were intended. However, a well-preserved example of the coin, especially one in mint or uncirculated condition, can be worth much more. In fact, some examples of the 1971 penny have been known to sell for several $100s, with the most highly graded and well-preserved specimens fetching prices far beyond that. But here's the kicker: certain error coins from 1971, particularly those with dramatic flaws or rare minting issues, have been sold for as much as $69,060. Yes, you've heard that right, a 1971 Lincoln penny, with the right combination of minting error, rarity, and condition, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The price you could get for a 1971 penny with a rare flaw could be life-changing for some lucky collector. So, the next time you find a 1971 penny in your change or in a coin jar, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. While most of these coins are worth only 1 cent, you may just have stumbled upon a rare and valuable treasure. Whether it's a coin in pristine condition or one with a unique minting error, the 1971 Lincoln penny is more than just a simple piece of currency. It's a gateway into the world of numismatics and the potential for a life-changing find. With the right coin in your possession, you could be looking at a payout of up to $69,060. As we've seen, the world of coin collecting can turn even the most mundane objects into precious treasures. The 1971 Lincoln penny is no exception. From its rich historical context to the fascinating world of minting errors, this coin is a prime example of how a small piece of metal can hold significant value, both as a collector's item and as a historical artifact. Top 2. The Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1974 may seem like just another coin among the thousands that passed through the United States Mint that year, but for numismatists and coin enthusiasts, it holds far more value and intrigue than its simple copper composition might suggest. A single penny might not seem like much in your pocket, but for a dedicated coin collector, even a seemingly ordinary coin from the past can be a hidden gem, especially one as historically rich as the 1974 Lincoln penny. While the face value of this coin is just 1 cent, its true worth could easily reach an astonishing $63,060, depending on its condition, rarity, and any unique features it might possess. To fully appreciate the 1974 Lincoln penny and its place in the broader context of American currency, we first need to understand its historical backdrop. The Lincoln penny, or the 1-cent coin, has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1909. Introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin originally featured a portrait of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, along with the famous "In God We Trust" motto. The reverse of the coin initially showcased two stalks of wheat, which became known as the wheat penny. However, by 1959, a new design for the reverse of the penny was introduced to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The design, which featured the Lincoln Memorial, was created by Frank Gasparo, and this new reverse image has graced the penny ever since. The iconic image of the Lincoln Memorial, located on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., symbolized Lincoln's lasting impact on the country, especially his efforts to preserve the Union during the Civil War. The penny's design had evolved, but the legacy of Abraham Lincoln remained front and center. Now, let's fast forward to 1974. The United States was in the midst of a complex and transformative period. The country was still feeling the lingering effects of the Vietnam War, and the early 1970s had seen a series of economic challenges, from inflation to the oil crisis. In the realm of coinage, the U.S. Mint was grappling with rising metal prices. As a result, many coins, including the Lincoln penny, began to shift in their material composition. While the pennies of the 1960s had been made of 95% copper, by the late 1970s, a transition toward a cheaper alloy was underway. But in 1974, the penny still held true to its original copper composition, consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc, making it heavier and more distinctive than later versions. It's worth noting that the 1974 penny was part of a particularly large mintage year for the U.S. Mint. Over 4 billion pennies were produced that year, with minting taking place at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The bulk of these pennies, like most coins, were struck for general circulation and were not necessarily of significant rarity. However, as we'll soon discover, even in a year of high mintage, some specific 1974 Lincoln pennies have come to the attention of collectors due to their quality, unique features, and rare minting errors. And therein lies the magic of coin collecting. Even the most common of coins can hold surprising value. The design of the 1974 Lincoln penny follows the familiar format that had been in place since 1959, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. On the obverse, we find the words "Liberty" along the top, with "In God We Trust" to the right of Lincoln's bust. The year, 1974, is inscribed beneath Lincoln's portrait, and it is flanked by the word "Liberty" to the left and "In God We Trust" above. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial with its classic architectural elements, columns, steps, and the dome at the top. The inscription, "United States of America," arches above the memorial, and "E Pluribus Unum" appears just below it. At the very bottom of the reverse, the denomination, 1 cent, is proudly displayed. This simple yet powerful design had become emblematic of the nation's respect for Lincoln's legacy. The 1974 Lincoln penny also had standard specifications for its size and weight. The coin has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams. These specifications were largely unchanged from the previous decades, except for minor variations due to different methods of production. The 1974 penny was struck with the same minting techniques as other coins of the era, with designs engraved onto dies and then used to strike the coins. However, as is often the case in minting, there are always subtle variations and unique occurrences that lead to coins standing out as rarities. Coin collectors know that not all pennies are created equal. When it comes to determining the value of a coin like the 1974 Lincoln penny, there are a few crucial factors to consider. First and foremost, coin condition plays a significant role. The value of a 1974 penny in its pristine, uncirculated state is far higher than one that has been used and heavily worn. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect specimen. A penny in mint condition, with no visible wear, scratches, or discoloration, can fetch a much higher price than one that has been in circulation for years. In fact, 1974 Lincoln pennies in gem uncirculated condition, meaning they've been preserved with minimal contact and wear, can be valued at hundreds of dollars. But the real excitement in the world of coin collecting comes with rare minting errors. Coins that feature a unique flaw in the minting process, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks, are highly prized among collectors. These errors, although relatively rare, can make a coin significantly more valuable than a standard issue. For the 1974 Lincoln penny, some of the most sought-after error types include the famous double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the die, resulting in a coin with a blurry or doubled image. In the case of the 1974 penny, this error can sometimes be seen in the inscription, Liberty, or in Lincoln's portrait. A double die error can cause the design to appear shifted, with certain parts of the coin being more prominent or bold than others. These kinds of flaws are rare, and coins with such errors tend to attract significant attention in the marketplace. Some of these double die errors from 1974 have been known to sell for thousands of dollars, as collectors eagerly hunt for these unique and valuable pieces. Another possible minting error for the 1974 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. An off-center strike can create a distinct visual effect that collectors find fascinating, and depending on the severity of the misalignment, these coins can also see a significant increase in value. Other minting errors that can affect the 1974 penny include die cracks, where cracks in the die cause flaws in the design, and filled dies, where the die is clogged with metal, leading to a weak or incomplete design. Any of these minting errors can increase the coin's rarity and desirability among collectors, making a seemingly ordinary penny worth far more than its face value. So, how much is a 1974 Lincoln penny worth? Well, the answer depends on the condition of the coin, its rarity, and whether it features any minting errors. Most of the 1974 pennies that were produced for general circulation are worth only 1 cent today, especially those that have been heavily circulated or show signs of wear. However, uncirculated coins and those in mint condition can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds of dollars, depending on their grade. The real value comes with the error coins. A 1974 Lincoln penny with a double die error, for example, has been known to sell for thousands of dollars. And in rare cases, when a particularly dramatic error is discovered, such as a double die that affects multiple parts of the coin or an off-center strike with a significant portion of the design missing, these coins can command values upwards of $63,060. It's amazing to think that a coin with a face value of just 1 cent can be worth such an astronomical sum, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. What seems ordinary at first glance can, in the right circumstances, turn into a treasure trove. In conclusion, the 1974 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a simple, everyday coin can hold incredible value for collectors. Its historical context, timeless design, and potential for minting errors make it a fascinating piece of American currency. Whether it's a coin in perfect condition or one with a rare and dramatic minting error, the 1974 penny is more than just a small denomination, it's a potential key to unlocking a fortune. So, next time you find a 1974 Lincoln penny in your pocket or a coin jar, take a moment to inspect it carefully. It could very well be worth far more than a single cent, with the possibility of netting you an astounding $63,060. Top 3. The 1979 Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like just another everyday coin, but for those in the world of coin collecting, it represents more than just its modest face value. It's a coin with history, artistry, and even a chance for a lucky few to strike it big. While most people look at pennies as pocket change, the world of numismatics reveals how even the most seemingly mundane coins can hold tremendous value. For the 1979 Lincoln penny, its historical context, design evolution, and the rarity of certain minting errors make it a collector's dream. By the end of this video, you'll not only know why the 1979 Lincoln penny is much more than just a cent, but you'll also be amazed to find out that one of these coins, in the right condition, could be worth a staggering $58,060. To truly understand the significance of the 1979 Lincoln penny, we need to look back at its history. The Lincoln cent itself was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, it featured an iconic bust of Lincoln on the obverse side, along with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year of minting. The reverse of the coin originally showcased 2 stalks of wheat, which became known as the wheat penny. This design remained in circulation until 1959, when the U.S. Mint introduced a new reverse design to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse now depicted the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., designed by engraver Frank Gasparo. The Lincoln Memorial design quickly became one of the most enduring symbols of American coinage. It features a grand view of the memorial with its iconic columns and steps, an image deeply associated with Lincoln's legacy. The reverse of the penny would remain unchanged for decades, and the 1979 penny proudly featured this design. Now, let's fast forward to 1979. The 1970s were a time of change and transformation for the United States. The country had just come through a tumultuous decade marked by the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and political upheaval. The economy was struggling with inflation, and the U.S. Mint was facing rising costs for raw materials like copper. This period also marked the final years of the traditional copper penny, as the U.S. Mint would transition to a more cost-effective copper-plated zinc alloy in 1982. So, while the 1979 penny is still made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, the very next decade would see significant changes in coin production. The 1979 Lincoln penny was minted in two locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Just like most coins from this period, it was produced in enormous numbers, with over 6 billion pennies struck that year. This massive mintage means that the 1979 penny is not particularly rare in terms of its numbers, at least, not the standard circulation version. However, the 1979 penny did feature certain features that make it interesting to collectors, including its design, as well as the potential for era coins that would later become sought after. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1979 Lincoln penny. On the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing to the right. The words, "Liberty," appear at the top, while "In God We Trust" is inscribed to the right of Lincoln's portrait. Below Lincoln's bust, we find the year 1979, marking the coin's date of minting. The obverse is simple, yet it carries significant historical weight, as Lincoln's image remains a powerful symbol of the United States. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, which had been the standard reverse design for the penny since 1959. The memorial, with its classical architecture, has become synonymous with Lincoln's presidency and his role in preserving the Union during the Civil War. The design is a tribute to the lasting influence of Lincoln, with the memorial's columns and steps symbolizing strength, unity, and the enduring spirit of the United States. Above the memorial are the words, "United States of America," and below we find, "E pluribus unum," and the inscription, 1 cent. This design is simple, elegant, and powerful, a fitting tribute to a great leader. The specifications of the 1979 Lincoln penny are in line with its predecessors. The coin has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams. The penny's composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc gives it a distinctive reddish-brown appearance, which can darken and patina over time, especially if the coin is exposed to the elements. This copper composition is part of what makes the 1979 penny significant to collectors. It's one of the last pennies to be made from the traditional copper alloy before the shift to zinc-plated copper in the 1980s. For collectors, this makes the 1979 penny a historical piece in the evolution of American coinage. While the 1979 Lincoln penny may have been produced in large quantities, it is worth noting that certain factors can significantly increase the value of a coin. For example, coins that have been well preserved and show little or no wear are far more valuable than those that have been in circulation for years. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, uncirculated specimen. A 1979 penny in mint state, with no visible scratches, discoloration, or wear, could be worth hundreds of dollars, depending on its condition. In addition to its condition, the rarity of certain minting errors can make a 1979 penny significantly more valuable. Minting errors occur when there is an issue during the coin production process, such as an improper alignment of the dies or an issue with the coin's strike. These errors are relatively rare and can make a coin stand out, often increasing its appeal to collectors. One of the most common errors associated with the 1979 penny is the double die, which occurs when a coin is struck twice, causing the design to appear doubled or blurry in some areas. A 1979 penny with a noticeable double die error, especially one that affects the "Liberty" inscription or the date 1979, can be worth a significant amount of money. Another error that is often sought after by collectors is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. Off-center strikes can vary in severity, and the more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin may be. Additionally, there are other minor errors that can occur, such as die cracks or coins with weak strikes, which may also be of interest to collectors looking for unique pieces. Despite the high mintage of the 1979 penny, these minting errors can make certain examples exceedingly rare. The value of these error coins can range from a few $100s to thousands, depending on the nature of the error and the coin's overall condition. In some cases, particularly dramatic era coins from 1979 have been sold for astronomical amounts at auction, making them some of the most valuable pennies in the world. So, how much is a 1979 Lincoln penny worth? The answer depends largely on the coin's condition and whether it possesses any unique features or minting errors. A standard 1979 penny in average condition is worth only 1 cent. However, if the coin is in near mint or mint condition, it could fetch anywhere from $10 to $50. But for a coin with a rare minting error, the value skyrockets. Certain error coins, especially those with a prominent double die or off-center strike, have been known to sell for thousands of dollars. In fact, the most valuable 1979 Lincoln penny ever sold was one with a double die error, which fetched an astonishing $58,060 at auction. It's truly remarkable to think that a coin worth just 1 cent could eventually be worth such a substantial amount of money. But that's the allure of coin collecting. What may appear to be a mundane or overlooked object can hold immense value when the right factors come into play. The 1979 Lincoln penny, with its rich history, timeless design, and potential for rare minting errors, serves as a perfect example of this phenomenon. If you're a coin collector, or even just someone who's curious about what's hidden in your change jar, keep an eye out for the 1979 Lincoln penny. While most of these coins may only be worth a single cent, there's always the chance that you could discover a rare, valuable piece. Whether it's a coin in pristine condition or one with an error that makes it stand out from the rest, the 1979 Lincoln penny is more than just a small piece of currency. It's a potential treasure. So, next time you see a 1979 penny, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You might just be holding a coin that could be worth $58,060. Top 4. The 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny might appear to be just another common coin from the 1980s, but in the world of coin collecting, this seemingly ordinary penny holds a special place of intrigue and value. At first glance, the 1981 penny is no different from countless others, small, copper-colored, and stamped with the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln. However, once you dive into its history, design, and the intricate details that make it unique, you'll quickly discover why this penny is far more valuable than its face value of just 1 cent. In fact, when properly evaluated, a 1981 Lincoln penny could be worth as much as $52,060, depending on its condition and rarity. So, how does a single-cent coin reach such a high price? Let's explore the historical context, the evolution of its design, the minting process, and the factors that have led to its collector appeal. To understand the 1981 Lincoln penny, we first need to dive into the historical backdrop that shaped the U.S. coinage system during the 1980s. The United States, having emerged from the 1970s with its economy in flux, saw rising inflation, an energy crisis, and a growing need for economic reform. This period of economic uncertainty was mirrored in the world of coinage, where the U.S. Mint was undergoing several significant changes. One of the most notable changes was the shift in the composition of U.S. coins. By the late 1970s, the cost of copper had risen dramatically, which led the Mint to reevaluate its use of copper in coin production. However, in 1981, the U.S. Mint still adhered to the traditional copper alloy composition for the 1-cent coin, meaning the 1981 Lincoln penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, just like its predecessors. This historical context sets the stage for understanding why the 1981 penny is so special. It is part of the final years of the traditional copper penny before the Mint would shift to a more cost-effective copper-plated zinc penny in 1982. This makes the 1981 penny a transitional piece, and as we will see, that transitional nature gives it a level of rarity that collectors value. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1981 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln 1-cent coin has undergone relatively few design changes since its introduction in 1909. The design, which was created by Victor David Brenner, features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln was inspired by a photograph taken by famed photographer Matthew Brady, capturing Lincoln at a pivotal moment in American history, the Civil War. The inscription, Liberty, appears at the top of the obverse, with, "In God We Trust," to the right of Lincoln's image. The year of minting, 1981, appears beneath the portrait, marking the year the coin was struck. The obverse has remained largely unchanged for over a century, making it one of the most enduring images in American coinage. The reverse of the 1981 penny is equally significant. For decades, the reverse of the Lincoln penny featured 2 stalks of wheat, which became known as the wheat penny design. This design, introduced in 1909, symbolize the agricultural roots of the United States and the hard work that helped build the nation. However, by 1959, the U.S. Mint introduced a new reverse design to mark the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This design, created by engraver Frank Gasparo, featured the Lincoln Memorial, symbolizing Lincoln's legacy as a leader who preserved the Union during the Civil War. The 1981 penny continues to carry this reverse design, which shows the Lincoln Memorial with its columns, steps, and iconic dome. The inscription, United States of America, arches above the memorial, while the phrase, E pluribus unum, is inscribed just below the columns. At the very bottom of the reverse is the denomination, 1 cent, which is the most prominent feature. This design has been in use on the Lincoln penny since 1959 and remains one of the most recognizable symbols of American currency. Now, let's get into the specifics of the 1981 penny's size and weight. The 1981 Lincoln penny has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams. These specifications are nearly identical to the pennies struck in previous years, and they continue to reflect the consistency of U.S. coinage during the late 20th century. However, even though the 1981 penny appears to be a straightforward coin, there are certain features that can make it stand out to collectors. As we'll see, it's the condition of the coin and the presence of any minting errors that can elevate its value. For most coins, condition is one of the most significant factors in determining value. Coins that have been in circulation for years often show signs of wear, scratches, and discoloration. This can greatly reduce their value. However, a 1981 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, one that has been carefully preserved, can fetch a much higher price. In the world of coin collecting, a coin's condition is graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect specimen. A well-preserved 1981 penny in gem uncirculated condition, with no visible flaws or signs of wear, is far more valuable than one that has been handled and circulated. But beyond condition, the most exciting aspect of coin collecting is the discovery of rare minting errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production of a coin, often resulting in a coin that looks slightly different from the standard issue. These errors can happen at various points in the minting process, and when they do, they create coins that are highly sought after by collectors. For the 1981 Lincoln penny, there are a few key errors that make certain examples particularly valuable. One of the most notable minting errors for the 1981 penny is the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the die, causing the design to appear blurry or doubled in certain areas. A double die error on a 1981 Lincoln penny could result in the letters in the inscription, Liberty, or In God We Trust, being doubled, creating a noticeable distortion. This error is rare, and collectors are always on the lookout for double die pennies, as they can significantly increase the value of the coin. Another potential error for the 1981 penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. Off-center strikes can vary in severity, but even minor off-center examples can be highly collectible. The more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin may be, with some off-center 1981 pennies fetching hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Additionally, there are other minting errors that could affect the 1981 penny, such as die cracks or filled dies. A die crack occurs when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, which is then transferred to the coin's design. This can result in a coin with a distinctive flaw that collectors find fascinating. Filled dies occur when metal from the coin being struck gets lodged in the die, causing certain areas of the design to appear weak or incomplete. These types of errors are less common, but they can make a 1981 penny even more appealing to collectors. So, how much is a 1981 Lincoln penny worth? The value of a 1981 penny can vary greatly depending on its condition and any unique features it may possess. A typical 1981 penny in average circulation condition is worth only 1 cent. However, a coin in uncirculated or gem uncirculated condition can be worth anywhere from $5 to $50. When minting errors are present, the value can increase dramatically. A 1981 penny with a noticeable double die error, for example, can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, some of the most valuable 1981 pennies, particularly those with dramatic minting errors, have sold for prices in the range of $52,000 and $60. It's hard to believe that a coin worth only 1 cent could one day be worth over $50,000, but that's the magic of coin collecting. In conclusion, The 1981 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how even the most common coins can have hidden value. With its historical background, iconic design, and the potential for minting errors, this penny holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. Whether it's a gem-quality example or a rare coin with a double-die error or off-center strike, the 1981 Lincoln penny is more than just pocket change. It's a potential treasure trove waiting to be discovered. So, next time you stumble across a 1981 Lincoln penny, take a moment to carefully examine it. You could very well be holding a coin worth $52,060. Top 5. The 1984 Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like just another coin you toss into your spare change jar, but for collectors and numismatists, it's far more than that. In fact, this seemingly simple penny, which most people use without a second thought, could be worth a lot more than its face value, up to $40,060, depending on its rarity and condition. As with many coins, there's a world of history, design, and rare finds hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. So, let's dive into the story of the 1984 Lincoln penny, examining its historical context, its design evolution, its production process, and the rare factors that make it a valuable treasure for coin collectors. First, let's set the stage with some historical context. By the time the 1984 Lincoln penny was produced, the U.S. Mint had already undergone significant changes over the previous decades. The 1980s marked a period of economic challenge in the United States, with inflation on the rise and significant changes in the structure of American currency. The 1984 penny was still made with the traditional copper alloy composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which would continue until 1982, when the Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc penny due to the rising cost of copper. In many ways, the 1984 penny represents a transitional moment in U.S. coinage. It was one of the last pennies made with the familiar copper alloy before the move to the new composition in the mid-1980s. The change in composition was driven by the increasing cost of copper, which made producing copper coins less economically viable for the U.S. Mint. But for collectors, this change was significant, as coins from this period, like the 1984 penny, are seen as part of the final era of copper-based pennies. Now, let's focus on the design. The 1984 Lincoln penny features the same iconic design that has graced U.S. 1-cent coins for over a century. On the obverse front of the coin, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This image was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The bust of Lincoln, facing to the right, is an enduring symbol of American leadership and unity, and it has remained virtually unchanged for over 100 years. Surrounding Lincoln's portrait are the words, "Liberty," at the top and "In God We Trust," to the right of the image. The year, 1984, is located just below the bust of Lincoln. The reverse, back, of the 1984 penny continues to showcase the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse design, created by engraver Frank Gasparo, features a view of the memorial in Washington, D.C., with its grand columns and steps leading up to the statue of Lincoln. Above the memorial are the words, "United States of America," and below the memorial are the inscriptions, "E pluribus unum," and 1 cent. This reverse design, depicting a symbol of American strength and unity, has remained unchanged for over 6 decades and is one of the most enduring and recognizable images in U.S. coinage. The specifications of the 1984 penny are in line with other pennies from this era. The coin has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams, making it one of the smallest and lightest coins in circulation. Its copper composition gives it a reddish-brown appearance, which can darken and age over time, particularly if the coin has been exposed to the elements. While the 1984 penny is nearly identical in size and weight to its predecessors, the subtle differences in its composition and condition are what can make it valuable to collectors. Now, let's talk about the minting details of the 1984 Lincoln penny. The penny was minted at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, with billions of pennies struck that year. In fact, over 7 billion pennies were produced in 1984, making it one of the highest mintage years for the Lincoln penny. Given that such a large number of coins were produced, the 1984 penny is relatively common in terms of availability. However, this doesn't mean it's entirely without value. While most 1984 pennies are worth only 1 cent in their standard circulated form, the real treasure lies in those coins that have been well preserved or exhibit rare minting errors. So, what makes a 1984 Lincoln penny valuable? As with most collectible coins, the condition of the penny is one of the most important factors. Coins that have been in circulation for years tend to show signs of wear, such as scratches, discoloration, or fading of the design. A penny in worn condition is typically worth only its face value, or a few cents at best. However, coins that have been well preserved, especially those that have never been in circulation and are in gem uncirculated condition, can be worth much more. These coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect specimen. A 1984 penny in gem uncirculated condition could be worth anywhere from $5 to $50, depending on its appearance. But the real excitement for collectors comes when a coin has a rare minting error. Minting errors occur when there's a malfunction or mistake during the coin's production process. These errors can result in coins that are different from the intended design and are often highly sought after by collectors. For the 1984 penny, there are a few notable errors that could make a particular coin worth a significant amount. One of the most common minting errors found in 1984 pennies is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin makes multiple impressions, causing parts of the design to appear doubled or blurry. A double die error on a 1984 Lincoln penny, particularly in the inscriptions, Liberty, or In God We Trust, can make the coin stand out from the rest. These double die pennies are often more valuable to collectors because they are rarer and more visually striking. Another potential error that could occur in 1984 pennies is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. Off-center strikes are rare, and the more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin may be. A 1984 penny with a significant off-center strike could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its severity and condition. There are also other less common minting errors that can affect the 1984 penny, such as die cracks, which occur when a crack develops in the die that strikes the coin, or filled dies, where the die becomes clogged with metal and results in a weak or incomplete strike. These types of errors can make a coin more unique and valuable, though they are typically harder to find. So, how much can a 1984 Lincoln penny be worth? In most cases, a typical 1984 penny in circulated condition is worth only 1 cent. However, if the coin is in near mint or gem uncirculated condition, it can fetch anywhere from $5 to $50, depending on its quality. If the coin has a rare minting error, such as a double die or an off-center strike, its value can rise significantly. In fact, the most valuable 1984 Lincoln pennies, especially those with dramatic minting errors, have been sold for as much as $40,060 at auction. The incredible value of these rare 1984 pennies shows just how valuable coin collecting can be, even for coins that most people would consider just a penny. Whether it's a coin in pristine condition or one with a rare error, the 1984 Lincoln penny proves that a simple coin can become a valuable collectible. In conclusion, the 1984 Lincoln 1-cent penny is far more than just a piece of currency. It's a part of history and a potential treasure for coin collectors. From its iconic design, to its role as a transitional coin in the history of American currency, to the rare minting errors that make it so valuable, the 1984 penny has captured the attention of collectors for decades. So, the next time you find a 1984 penny in your pocket or change jar, take a moment to inspect it. It could very well be worth far more than just 1 cent, and it could hold the key to a lucrative discovery worth $40,060 or more.